Welcome back, everyone, to Onyx's Rambling Reviews. Didn't expect to do a review on this movie, but then I thought about it and I decided to do it. Obviously, it's in the title, so I'm not going to make you guess what movie this is, but honestly, did any of you expect this review? Because I didn't. Clearly, I don't have that much things to decorate with. I have this mask in the plant, because that's the only place to really put it. I got this when I visited Italy when I was younger, and I have a travel book for Europe. I don't have a lot of stuff that really works for you. I couldn't even find a good cookbook, or at least one that would fit on the shelf. I tried. All of my cookbooks are too big for the shelf, unfortunately. But that's neither here nor there. Today's movie is You, Me, and Tuscany. The latest rom-com out of theaters, and it is a rom-com. I am not the biggest fan of rom-coms. I think I've mentioned this before. They're not my thing. I'm not into a cheesy romance. It's really cliche. And while this movie tries not to be cliche, it is cliche. I have a note in here at one point for one of the characters to just stop being a cliche. We'll get to that, because it's a little painful to watch, in my opinion. I like the acting. I thought Halle Bailey did great. The last thing that I've known her from was the live-action Little Mermaid remake, which, not Disney's worst live-action remake. Not by a long shot. That award will forever probably go to Snow White. And if I get 100 subscribers to this channel, just 100, I will put out a whole thing on that movie, unedited, except maybe like the first bit where I go to sit down in my chair after hitting record. Unedited. I will give you my thoughts on that movie. It will be brutal. So we can get me to 100 subs. You get some ramble. Not that you don't normally get ramble, but oh god, that one will probably be a couple hours. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. No, I didn't hate this movie. Halle Bailey was great. She's very fun to watch. She's a good actor. I have nothing bad to say about her. I don't have nothing. Okay, the one bad thing is I didn't really feel like she had much chemistry with one of her on-screen co-stars, Lorenzo Demore. And that's nothing on him either. I thought he was great. They just, like, the characters themselves aren't supposed to have chemistry, really. They're supposed to be like a one-night stand and probably never see each other again. So they're not really supposed to have, like, true chemistry. But it feels like it's a different level of not having chemistry other than, like, a written type of not having chemistry. If that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but that's what I'm going with. And every time they were on screen together when they were trying to be a couple, it just felt really awkward. I didn't like it. Meanwhile, Jean Regé Page, I do not know how to pronounce his name, but I have seen him in a few things too. I did like him in things. And now I'm blanking on all the things that I've seen him in. He was in Black Bag. I saw that last year. I liked that movie. I think that movie didn't get enough, visibility. That was a good movie. I like he and Halle definitely have a lot more on-screen chemistry. They also just feel like they have chemistry between them. It's like they could be friends and everything. So it comes off well. The other notable characters, I forgot to write down the actors' names for this one. I'm sorry. The actress that plays Gabriella, she's great. She kind of reminds me of an aunt that I have in a very good way. She's very personal. She's very loving. She's definitely there for you. And that reminds me of my aunt a lot, and I love her for that. Then there's Francesca, who is probably, she either is or is tied to be my favorite character in this movie. She's definitely mostly there for comedic relief, and she does that so well. She's amazing in that role. And then you have Lorenzo, who is not played by Lorenzo, which I will be referring to the characters by their character names. Don't worry. Lorenzo Demore plays a character named Matteo. Lorenzo is played by somebody else. But Lorenzo drives a very tiny cab that I don't think has an ounce of trunk space. It's probably the smallest car I've ever seen. It's probably smaller than a smart car. It's tiny. He's fabulous. And I feel like a good majority of the time when you see him, he's eating a sandwich. I had a sandwich counter going. I got to 3, which I feel is low. I wish there had been more sandwich. I don't know why. I started I guess because they just kept showing up being eaten. Yeah, that's probably why the soundtrack. No, he is great. He's definitely one of my favorite characters. There's also Claire, who plays Anna's best friend. She's only kind of in the movie. She's like supposed to be like about to have a child, and she stays in New York through the whole movie. So you mostly just hear her voice through like voicemail and everything, and you see text between her and Anna. Like she's there, but she's not like there like through like 95% of the movie, maybe more than that. And I can't decide if I like her. You can't decide if she's a good friend or not. I'll leave that up to you. There's some intricacies there that I'm probably not privy to, but whatever. Also, I am wearing a dress today. This is the closest thing that I own to a sundress. A, I do not like the sun. B, I am not that much of a dress person normally. Sometimes I can be, but not normally. But there were a lot of cute sundresses in this movie, so I figured I'd wear a little sundress. You're gonna see me like all glammed up when I do Double Earth Prada too, so I guess this is like step one of that. I don't know if I hit the plant or not, or if that's something else making noise. Yeah, no, the movie has cliches. There's at the end when the credits are playing, there's some bloopers rolling, and my husband made a point to me. He said this as we walked out. She's like, that ending felt really. It's not. It is and it isn't sexist. That's not the right word here. It's like a double standard, where these ladies in this tour bus are gushing over this guy and being like, can I take that tour and get in? Can I be your things like that? It's just like when a woman says it, in this day and age, it tends to come off more okay than when a man says it, and he's just like, it's sexist in that way. And it's just like, yeah, it kind of is. Why can't, like, soapboxing is for another day, but I just want to get that out there that it is something to think about. So ladies, we ain't coming from the purest place when we saying this either. So let's be real. Let's be real here. Ladies, is it okay for us to like kind of degrade men when we don't let them do it to us? I don't think so. I don't know how to fix it. It is a societal problem, and we have a lot of those that we need to fix. Again, let's just get back to the movie, which was 2.5 stars. It was fine. I didn't hate it as much as I expected to. It was about what I expected going in. Want to get into it with me? I, surprisingly, despite my feelings on this movie, I took so many notes. That's probably like 20 pages. Maybe not. I'm not going to count how many pages that is. That's a lot of pages of notes. That's probably the most notes I've taken for a movie. Oh boy, we're going to get into this. I hope y'all are ready. Get your popcorn. Right now, if you're feeling it, get your wine. I don't like wine. I should have gotten some like grape juice. I do have some wine glasses. Should have gotten some grape juice and poured it into a wine glass. I'm like, yes, wine. Because it takes place in a wine villa. So yeah, I should be using wine. No, didn't think that far ahead. I was at the store yesterday too. I should have done that. Damn. Oh well. As always. Spoiler alert. Also, I would like to apologize in advance. If my audio sucks, I am sorry. I am going to be looking into getting a new mic soon. I should have one by the end of May, a new mic. Because where I live, we do not have a micro center. We really only have a Best Buy in terms of getting good tech here. That's not the best way. It's a whole thing. But my husband and I are traveling in May, and we're going to go to a place that has a micro center. So I'm going to look there for a better mic. Hopefully I'll find one. But if not, we do have some like kind of on like the back burner that we might order. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, spoiler alert. And let's get into it. Yumi and Tuscany. And let me just say one more thing. This movie made me so hungry. I love Italian food. I survive off of pasta mostly. The majority of my diet is pasta. I love pasta so much. So we start with shots of New York. And why? Can we we don't need to pan over New York anymore, people. We all know there's the Statue of Liberty, there's Central Park, the Empire State Building. In the past, before 9/11, there was the Twin Towers. Now we have the 9/11 Memorial Site. Can we get some other images of New York City? Do we even need to pan over New York City? Just give me the skyline real quick. If that. Most people know New York these days. There's this little tiny. So now we're in an apartment. It's a nice looking apartment, by the way. This place is very high and very ritzy. It's just like, dang, this girl has money. Find out very quickly she doesn't. She is a house sitter, and she's walking this dog. I guess this lady has 2 apartments because she goes from one to a different apartment to return the dog. And the owner of this apartment isn't supposed to be back for like another month, but she's back. Apparently, there was something with the husband, Peachy. I don't know what happened there. And we find out her name is also Brianna, not just Anna. She's called Anna when she's in Tuscany, up until like the very end when she's like, kind of lied about my name. My name's actually Brianna. She's just been going by Anna this whole time. Not important. She does look fabulous in the clothes. Here's the thing. Nothing is Halle Bailey. She looks great. Girl has a fabulous body. The woman whose clothes she is borrowing is much skinnier than her. Okay, maybe not much, but like she is. And she's also taller, so like, how is all of this fitting her this well? Like, So she gets fired from that house sitting job, and she has nowhere to live right now. Because when she house sits, she just kind of stays at the person's house. Makes sense. Her friend Claire works at a hotel. I don't know what hotel. They don't really mention it. And Anna comes in. She's like, "Hey, can I get a room?" She's like, "No, but you can go get your phone charged in the bar. I just asked about it." And that's where she meets Mateo. At one point, we do get a "how I got here" like flashback as she's stripping the clothes, with this woman being like, "Get out of my clothes." Which fair. She's also wearing this woman's lingerie. Girl, the dress, the shoes, I understand all that. The lingerie, though? The lingerie. I get the back. She grew up in Atlanta with her mom. We never really hear about the dad, so we're just gonna. He existed because she exists. That's all we're gonna say on him. Her mom worked in a restaurant. She always wanted to be a chef. She was in culinary school. She dropped out when she had 2 months left because her mom was ill. I don't know what kind of ill. They never specify. But she dropped out to take care of her mom. She never finished culinary school. She never lived out her dream of becoming a chef. And now she kind of has some reservations about being in the kitchen because it reminds her of her mom, who is dead. Her mom's dead. And she's talking to her friend on the phone as she's walking to the hotel. And her friend's just like, "Girl, you just need to focus on you. You need to work on your passion now." And when she gets to the hotel, Anna gets to the hotel, she asks her friend, she's like, "Can't you just like hook me up? You're going to be quitting soon." And her friend's just like, "Girl, I'm going on maternity leave." That is not the same thing as quitting. And it's not. Like, you're going to be off work for, I don't know how many months, probably a couple months. I don't know how long maternity leave lasts. I've never thought about that. Well, that's not the case in point here. Anyway, she goes into the bar to get her phone charged, like the bartender does, and she's like, "Yep." And you also get the friends and family discount because friend. And that's where she meets Mateo. And he's drinking his feelings. We don't know why he's drinking his feelings. Probably because it's coming up on like the year mark of when he left home. And he just left. Excuse me, please stay there. Here. There. Hopefully that stays. We find out he's from Tuscany. I don't remember the name of the city. They connect about drinking their problems. He shows her all these pictures of back home, of the city, and his little villa. We're gonna say villa. Villa sounds better, I know. It's gorgeous, but she only sees like one picture. But they really hit off, and he takes her up to his room in the hotel for the night. And she is like, "Okay, give me a minute," and goes into the bathroom to freshen up. She's in there for like 2 minutes. She comes out of the bathroom, he is passed out. Apparently it was jet lag. Like, he is full on asleep. It's not even like too much drinking asleep. He is just like exhausted asleep. I have been there. I understand this. I have come back from vacations and just immediately fallen asleep, so I fully understand. She does end up spending the night, and she wakes up to a note on her pillow where he apologizes for falling asleep on her, and he's just like, "Order whatever you want for breakfast. It's on me." So she orders up room service. Her friend comes up, and they talk, and at one point during the night, she had like tapped their phones together. I guess is that an iPhone thing? I don't know. I use Android. I don't know how Apple phones work. She gets the photos that he showed her off of his. Well, she shares the pictures with herself from his phone. He's asleep. She just can't use his face. So she and her mom were planning on going to Italy after she graduated culinary school. She has a plane ticket. Just so that is clear, because this woman is broke. I think she has like $530 something in her account, or was it 500? It was less than $600 in her bank, and she has a plane ticket, and she has no other plans. She just gets on a plane and decides to go to Italy because of this conversation with this guy that she just met, Matteo. And now it'll be a little bit before we see Matteo again, and we only see Claire in like FaceTime from this point forward. Anna is now in Italy, in the Tuscany region, which is gorgeous. This movie was really pretty in the theater. This movie is going to look great on a 4K disc with the HDR, the vibrancy of the color. Oh, it's gonna look beautiful. I've been to Italy. It is beautiful, and it is gonna come across so well on 4K. Yes, he's also okay. Also, Matteo does real estate, and he has to stay there. He doesn't live there. He's traveling for work all the time, so like it's just sitting there abandoned. Whatever. I just have a note here that says Apple phones. Her friend calls Matteo the spicy white boy, and I think that's what she saves Matteo as in her phone, is spicy white. I do love that. That is hilarious to me. It is slightly racist, but I do think it's a little funny. Because let's be real, I am very white, and if anybody wants to call me as white, like the whitest like thing that they can think of, honestly, I'm gonna be impressed if you come up with something new. I'm so white. I'm sorry. She's on her way to Italy. Why do I have a note here that says wine in Italy? I don't know what I was talking about there. Maybe her friend mentioned wine, and there's wine in Italy. There's much wine in Italy. So she gets there, she takes a bus from the airport to whatever town she wants. She doesn't even get to the town that she wants to go from the station. I think the bus station is still like a little bit away. And so she gets there and she's going to try to find a cab to go to the actual town. And the first cab is just like €200 to get there, which is probably like, he senses she's a tourist and he knows he can get as much money out of her as possible. And she's like, no. The next guy, oh, okay, this is where we meet Lorenzo. He's the cab driver of this really tiny car. I love him. He's great comedic relief. I wish he was in the movie more. He plays a great best friend character, honestly. He's a great girlfriend. I see it, and I love him. And he loves sandwiches. There's two scenes where he just has sandwiches and he's just eating them, and I love it. It's great. And he's just like, yeah, €13 plus to get to the town. He does, and he gives her a tour of the town. And apparently, right now it is like the beginning of the summer festival. All of the hotels are booked up. All of the hotels. I don't think she can find one within maybe. I'm gonna go with a 3-hour radius, possibly. I don't know how far she tried, but she kept calling people. She kept trying. Lorenzo gives her his card so she can call him if she needs a ride or something. She does call him quite a bit too. Sometimes just for advice and to talk, and I love that for their relationship. They're great together. They have great on-screen chemistry, and it's fabulous. I love that. All the hotels are booked. And as she is leaving the first hotel that she was hopefully going to stay at, she nearly gets run over by this truck. It's a green truck. It's kind of small. Like, a lot of things in this area are small, I guess. But it makes sense because like it's kind of just like a delivery truck for the vineyard where it's coming from to deliver the wine. And she's going into this restaurant. Also, I definitely predicted. I wrote in here, nearly gets run over. I bet it's the guy that she falls for. Why are rom-coms so predictable? It is the guy. This guy's name is Michael. He is an ass when they first meet. She goes into this little restaurant and she asks the lady at the counter about the sandwich, and she's the first American to actually pronounce the kind of like spread or something on it correctly. And just as she's about to order it, Michael walks in with his payment. He starts talking to the lady in Italian and gives her like the delivery of wine. She gives him a basket. He also orders that same sandwich. She was about to, and he just full up interrupts her, and like he could have waited, for real though. Why is this always a thing that the guy is either just like a complete asshole when they first meet, or they meet once and they have this moment, and then it's like 10 years later and they keep looking for each other, but they never forgot this moment and things like that. This is my issue with rom-coms. There's no good way to make a unique meeting moment. They all feel cliche to me. So after he buys the sandwich and leaves, she goes out chasing after him, yelling about how he was an asshole and that she was gonna buy that sandwich. And he's just like, well, you didn't. I did. He does end up giving her half a sandwich when he realizes she kind of screwed up and didn't reserve a hotel room. Yeah. So she calls her friend and they kind of talk, and she's like, yeah, you should. I think it's texting. She's like, you should have made a reservation. Just come back to New York, girl. Come back. You can stay with me. I can probably hook you up with a room at the hotel. You can get a new house sitting. And then she remembers house sitting. There's an empty I'm never gonna say this right. There's an empty villa, just sitting there with nobody in it. She could totally stay there. How does she know where the villa is? I don't know if she ever got the address for it exactly. So how does she find it? She has like one or maybe two pictures of it. How does she find this at night in a city? It's not even a city. It's not like a little village town that she's never been to before, and with a language she doesn't speak. Well, she speaks a little bit of it. She does speak a little bit of Italian. Not a lot, but a little bit. How does she find this house? Actually, though, how? And then she's lucky enough that the key is just sitting in one of the pots outside. It is in a cute little frog pot, but that does not help the point. Why? Why is it like this? This is a dumb plot point. She shouldn't have been able to find it that easily. And the key definitely wouldn't have just been sitting there if it's been like left there for like a year. There's no way the key would still just be there. Especially since we found out that the mom and grandma apparently come in and kind of clean it regularly, and the gardeners there fairly frequent. I guess that's why they feel safe enough to leave the key there. But still, that just seems like a really dumb idea to leave a key there. Unless this is like a super small town and they don't. But it's summer festival. It sounds like this is probably like the most touristy time. I didn't realize I had feelings about this part until just now. That it doesn't make sense. Whatever. Also, girl, did you pack I don't know, it's not a converter, but maybe one of those plugs that's supposed to work in like European outlets? Because you're from America. Your charger cord ain't gonna work in these outlets. And I don't think you planned ahead enough to buy one of those things that you can plug your charger into that will plug into a European outlet. She does end up stealing a charger from a junk drawer, which is how she finds a ring. She also does laundry in there because there's an in-unit washer and dryer, which she was really hoping for in the next house sitting job that she got. So she did get that. Well, I think her entire life is in one duffel bag. Which, girl, with how many clothes you wear, that is an impressive. You pack very well. She wakes up so she does sleep there overnight. This is before she finds the charger, which I think she should look for the night before, but whatever. She wakes up to singing. I don't know why she left the window open, because if the window wasn't open when she got there, that's going to be sus, and somebody's going to notice that, and that's, like, the gardener who is singing could look and be like, why is that window open? Now I need to go check. That doesn't happen, but she just wake up to the gardener singing. He's singing like opera. He's a very good singer. I do like that. So she starts doing laundry, and she finds the ring as she finds the charger, because after she put the laundry in, she started looking for a phone charger. And she's like, why would somebody leave an engagement ring in a junk drawer? And it fits her. So many plot points that are just like, this is just so convenient and so cliche for the movie. And there are times where it's just like, yeah, the ring's a little too tight because her knuckles are a little big. But then sometimes the ring just comes off easily. Exasperation. Yeah, of course the ring fits. Of course it does. We wouldn't have the movie if it didn't. After she finds the ring and puts it on, two people come in. There are two ladies. There's one who is, I'd say that the younger of the two is maybe late 50s, early 60s. She looks great, by the way. She looks fabulous. And then there's like the little Italian grandma. She's adorable, and I love her. We call her Nona. Oh, I forgot to mention one other character at the beginning. Vincenzo is Matteo's dad, and he will be important later. He's not in the scene. He is not here for a little bit. They're there to clean the house, I guess. I don't know what they're doing. I guess they probably clean it periodically, hoping that Matteo's coming back. Whatever. That's not ever explained why they're there. So you have Anna. Also, how do these guys not hear the laundry is going? And they walk by the laundry room a couple of times, and they never glance in there and see that there's laundry being done in there. These women are unobservant, but also Nona is not, because she keeps she notices a lot of things. How's she not forcing a character to be oblivious in one scene when they're not when they are a very observant character really annoys me. And it's just like, no, this character definitely won't notice this. And I think Nona definitely would notice that. But whatever. Gabriella, the younger of two, Matteo's mom, realizes somebody's in the house after she goes upstairs to start cleaning because the bed's unmade, Anna's stuff's kind of still there, and there's a window open. And then you see Anna, who's now on a balcony and now climbing. And then she gets onto a rain drain. Those pipes on the side. And in typical fashion, it falls with her on it. Does this movie, I want to say, does this movie have an original thought? It kind of does, with the whole going to Tuscany and staying in the dude's house. That is kind of an original idea. But beyond that, all the other things just feel really cliche to me. Things they just happen in all the movies. They happen in all the movies. So, Grandma and Gabriella they sit her down in the living room. Yeah, whatever. It's a living room. The gardener's also there. And the she has her broom, and she's kind of not with the broom end, with the other end, the stick end. They haven't noticed the ring on her finger yet. But they do. They've also called the police, which, fair, valid, makes total sense to do. There is somebody who broke into your son's house. I'd be calling the cops too. And they ask her how she knows Matteo, and then they know something, and she's like, yes, I'm marrying Matteo. And there's our other cliche. Fake relationships. Now, here's the thing. Matteo hasn't been home in a year. But now she's like, yeah, he's coming home. He does come home in a bit. And they're so excited Gabriella is so excited that her son is coming home. She really misses him. Grandma isn't falling for any of this. Nah, she knows something's up, and she ain't. Well, we have our second sandwich coming up. The mom is very into it, though. After they leave to go back to their house, Anna quickly packs her own bags, calls up Lorenzo, and just I need to go. She gives him her phone. I'm guessing it's her phone. To call I guess it's probably the airport or the airline that she's using to try to get her ticket changed so she can go home that day instead of the 5 days later that it's scheduled for. Because she doesn't speak that much Italian. She speaks a little bit. Not enough to do this conference. So Lorenzo's having this conversation, and it's 2,000 euros to change her ticket. Yeah, I guess that is possibly a true thing. And then she looks at her hand, just she forgot to leave the ring behind. And now she can't get it. And now she can't get it off her hand. And Lorenzo has a sandwich, and she's like, that looks really good. And he asks, do you want some? And so they're standing outside of the cab for a minute, and they're eating a sandwich together. And it's a good moment. And he's just like, well, you can either tell the truth and go to prison, or you can go along with it and get married to this guy. Either way, it's very romantic. I apologize for the very bad Italian accent. I'm not great at most accents. I can kind of do British, but not great either. They share the sandwich, and he does take her back, and she's gonna go tell the truth. And then she meets the entire family instead of being able to talk to Gabriella alone. She was gonna tell them, this is also when we meet Francesca. And the ring comes off in the scene now too. She's finally able to pop off. But then she gets in, Gabriella notices she's not wearing the ring when she goes back to tell them the truth. The whole family's there, and she doesn't want to tell everybody, in that moment, because she's like, oh god, you're all right here. And so she's like, what, aren't you wearing anything? And she's like, I just like to take it off and fiddle with it when I'm nervous, or something like that. There's also a moment where the family is doing Anna versus Anna because of how they pronounce A's versus how Americans pronounce the A at the beginning of the name. And she's like, Anna's fine. She is just like, really, it doesn't really matter which one you pronounce it as. There's one kid, I think his name is Enzo. He wants to be a vlogger, I guess, a TikTok star, something like that. He's always on his phone. He's always phone. This is where we first meet Francesca too, and I love her dearly. And she is totally unashamed of the fact that she is having an affair with a plumber. And we're there in Italy, so it is an Italian plumber whose name is Luigi. I did laugh. This did get an actual laugh out of me. I did laugh here. Because that was just so out of left field that I'm like, you know what? The fact that you're not even ashamed of it? Alright. And now she's having, I guess, lunch? I guess she's having lunch with the family now. And guess who shows up during lunch? It's Michael, the guy who almost ran her over with the truck. Of course it is. He is Gabriella's adopted son because his parents died in a car accident around there. They own the vineyard, so now he runs the vineyard. I'm pretty sure Michael kind of senses that something is off about this thing with her saying she's now engaged to Matteo. Nobody ever calls her out on it, despite the fact that she really knows nothing about Matteo. Anything, really. She, to be fair, she knows enough that she can BS her way through this. Because she knows that there was some kind of falling out with the father that made him leave, and it's been a while. That's what that says. I need to work on my handwriting. We find out. So, she goes back to the cabbie, to Lorenzo, and he asks husband, and she's like, we're going to Greece for our honeymoon. So that went about as well as it could have for her, I guess. I assume it's the next day instead of later that day. I think, yeah, the next day, as she's leaving, I don't know where she's going. She doesn't have right. She's just gonna, go explore, I guess. Michael's there to pick her up, to give her a tour of the vineyard. Because aren't you getting married there? He turns on, it's a nice little car, it's a nice little convertible, it is a nice car, but it's not the nicest car. There's a car later in this movie that I'm like, I'm not a car person, but, So he turns on his car, and it is playing Let Me Love You. I do not remember who it's by, I do remember the song, it is from the 2000s, and I did like it then. I was a 2000s pop girly. I did grow up in that era. I will admit to that. She is taken to the vineyard, where Michael works, what he owns. And this is where we meet. Also, this vineyard, huge. I don't know how big a vineyard normally is, so this might just be a normal sized vineyard. Well, this is also where we meet Isabella and a tiny pig, who is very cute. And in 2 scenes, this is one of them. We meet Isabella, who is Matteo's ex. I at first thought that she might have been Michael's ex, no, but she did grow up with Michael and Matteo. But she is Matteo's ex. She's in 3 scenes. And yet she's kind of a big plot point. But also, you could have put any woman in this spot. They could have done so much more with her, and they didn't. She's not around enough to be a catalyst for anything. My problem with rom-coms, sometimes things just happen, and there's not nothing explains why it's happening now or what. I immediately knew she was going to be an issue. Just she had this look about her, like, I don't trust this girl. And then the family starts showing her around the vineyard, and they kind of make fun of Michael for being single. And apparently, there's this thing it's only for Matteo's family. It's a tradition in their family that the guy serenades the bride at the wedding. And during this, all past sins are not forgotten, forgiven. And so they kind of just, and Michael, I can't decide if he is a good singer or not in this scene. Because he's playing it up a lot and trying to be very cheesy about it and everything. Which comes across as it's not bad singing, but it comes across as somebody trying to do karaoke kind of. I don't know. But Anna's liking it. She's like, that's cute. Just to remember, she is fake engaged to essentially his brother. Adopted brother. Matteo was adopted too. Michael was adopted. She's just like, I need a drink. Good thing they're at a vineyard. Michael takes her and they get drunk. Or she gets very drunk. I don't know how much wine they go through. There are many glasses on that table. I don't know how many different. You see white, you see some reds, and at first she's doing pretty well. She tastes notes of cherry in the first glass because she took a sommelier course in culinary school. By the end, she's like, grape. It's giving grape. She's very drunk. This is where she finds out that Mateo just left. He didn't say goodbye. He literally just up and went. They drink so much wine and they talk for so long. And then Anya kind of gets up and runs into the vineyard. She's like, I've always wanted to do this. And she runs and she eats a grape off the vine. Now, I know that eating like 1 or 2 grapes is not going to hurt their wine supply or anything. Probably fine. But girl, that is his livelihood. And you're just eating it. I know it's probably not going to affect his wine. It could, though. I don't think two or 3 grapes is really going to affect it, but you never know. And then Michael's just like, if you really want to like know what like gives the flavor and everything, it's in this one. And then there's this weird scene where they reach down to this one, and they try to make it weirdly sexy, them like reaching in the dirt and talking about it. It's just like it's not. It's not. It's not giving sexy to me. It's like you're just touching dirt. That's dirt. And then the sprinklers come on, and she's like, "Oh my god, my hair!" And as a very white woman, I do not know much about black people's hair, and I will never claim to. I know that there are people out there who work specifically with black people's hair. They know what they're doing, and if a black person ever tells me I need to get out of here because it's gonna ruin my hair, I'm gonna trust what they're gonna say because their hair is very important to cultures. I love my hair. It's very important to me. And I know that African Americans have a deep rooted, cultural thing with their hair. You don't mess with their hair. It's like let's go on. She's worried about her hair being all wet and getting ruined. Because she ain't gonna find a way to fix her hair up in this little Italian town. True. She probably ain't. So Michael, his shirt's also already wet, but he gives it to her to like cover her, and they start running. I don't know how well that shirt's doing covering her hair, but it must work well enough because they get out of the sprinklers, and he is wet and shirtless, and she is definitely not staring at those abs. Okay, he does look great, but also in this moment, he is such a cliche. There's so many points where Michael just becomes such a cliche for a rom-com, in my opinion, that it hurts me. And this is one of those times where it's just like, yep, you're just showing off your body, being wet and everything. And then apparently the vineyard gives tours, and a tour is driving by at this exact moment, and they are into it. I need to work on my handwriting. After that, they end up going into town. They do not take the nice car, they take the little truck, and Michael's just like, it is more comfortable than it looks. We don't get confirmation on this from Anna, but they do go into town. No, they don't. I thought they were. No, he just drives her back to the villa. And she is definitely almost kisses him after she gets out of there. Because she doesn't climb out through the passenger door. No, why would that happen? Why would that be a possibility? She climbs over Michael and goes out through the driver's side door while he is still in the car. I don't know why he didn't get out first to let her out. She honks the horn and she's I don't know why that had to happen. Like I do to like because like it builds up the sexual tension between these two. But also like that's not how normal people would deal with that situation. Or somebody who knows that the other person is engaged to their brother would deal with that situation normally. Whatever. It happens. And then they stand there. She is definitely very drunk. It looks like she kind of almost wants to kiss him. They don't. She doesn't lean in too much. She goes inside. She is very drunk. She wakes up very hungover. Gardner still singing every morning. And I respect that about him. He is happily gardening in the same spot every day. Singing his opera. Good on him. So, that day she goes into town. There's a farmer's market going on. Apparently everybody seems to know who she is now. Everybody greets her. They seem to know her name. They're just like, hi. Ciao, Bella. She does buy a loaf of bread. I think she also buys some tomatoes and some garlic. Which, at the end of the day, she slices the bread. It's kind of like a bruschetta, but I don't think she toasts the bread. And I don't know if she puts olive oil into The mix of the tomatoes and everything. And I think you also need some, I think you need onion. Yeah, I think you need a little bit of vinegar for bruschetta too. But it's like, there's tomato, I think it's probably basil and some garlic on the bread. That's not important just yet. And she goes there. And she runs into Michael, who takes her to the family's restaurant, which is a restaurant that Mateo was supposed to take over. Like, it's the family business. And he did not want to. That's part why he left. He did not want to be the one dealing with all that. That was not for him. I would love to run a restaurant. I love cooking. I am bad at it. I can make certain pastas, make a really good fettuccine. That is like my one claim to fame is my fettuccine. And I make really good cookies. I'm decent at baking. I love to bake. I hate cleaning up after it, and that's why I don't do it that often. But she goes into, they're cooking. Enzo's supposed to be cooking. He's more so on his phone. And so she takes what is about to burn. I think it's lamb. It might not be lamb. I don't know what meat it is. A meat. She like flips it, tosses it. She clearly has a skill because like flipping and tossing in the pan like that. That's probably not an easy thing to do well. And she plates it like the way you're supposed to plate it. Vincenzo, Mateo's father, Gabriella's husband, sees this. Yeah, it is Gabriella's. He sees this and he's just like, you can cook. And it's just like, she literally just like kind of tossed the meat and plated it. She didn't actually do that much to really prove she could. Like, she tastes some of the risotto that's being made and she's like, I can taste the nutmeg. And like, you can tell she knows what she's doing in a kitchen. She has some skill. She understands what's going on. But she also has this thing about cooking. It makes her think for her mom, who is no longer with her. And that was recent enough that it is still a sore subject for her. So she's back at the villa, and she makes her the thing that's like bruschetta. Bruschetta. I do not know how to pronounce it. And Italians, if I am saying this wrong, please let me know. I am sorry for desecrating your language. It is a beautiful language. Michael stops by with food from the restaurant. And she's like, they know I'm one person, right? Because it's a lot of food that he drops off. And he tries her little bread thing, and he's just like, damn, that's good. She's like, it's just bread and tomatoes and like garlic and stuff. I will say, there's a lot of movie and stuff that get cookbooks published about them. It's just like, food from this franchise. This is a movie that would make perfect sense to have a cookbook for. I love Italian. I need an Italian cookbook. I need that. Michael and her kind of connect over parents being dead. She tells him about why cooking is kind of an issue about her mom and everything. Also, apparently Enzo found her Instagram, which, why does he not tell him? Because her Instagram's probably under Brianna, not Anna. Unless she does go by Anna on there too. In which case, why? But if she does go by Brianna, why doesn't he tell you that her name's Brianna and not Anna? Kid knows something, and he's honestly keeping it to himself pretty well. But Michael's just like, they kind of have another moment at the sink. And Michael needs to stop being a rom-com cliche where he's falling, because he's just like, I always fall for the wrong girl. I'm like, my guy, that is such a line. I think I would just nope out if I was in a situation like that and somebody used that line and be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'll tell people I'm out of here. Screw it. I'll take being in prison over this weird thing that's happening. After that, once again, they almost kiss again. Almost. Because, she calls Claire. She gets a voicemail, so she texts. And then she calls. Lorenzo, our cabbie friend. I love him. He is driving somebody, an old man in, I guess, a suit. And he's eating a sandwich while he's driving, which is sandwich number 3. This movie really made me want sandwiches. Maybe I'll have a sandwich for dinner. No, she calls him. And she is just like, I am falling for this other guy. And he's just like, And at some point, somebody says, well, it can't get any worse. And you never say that in a movie. Never say that in a movie. Or really anything. Because the minute you say things can't get worse, they will. It's law, essentially. It's not Murphy's Law. No, that's anything can go wrong, will go wrong, is Murphy's Law. But it's saying that nothing can go wrong. Or it can't get worse. You're immediately just going to make it worse. So next morning, guess who's there? Mateo. He's finally back. Isabella called him to tell him about the goings-on. And once again, the ring won't come off after he's just like, well, why don't you take it off? Why? He's like, why didn't you try olive oil? Did you try olive oil? It does get the ring off. And so Mateo wants to tell his family the truth. Well, specifically, he wants her to tell his family the truth because he doesn't want his family mad at him again. Because he's just like, I just got back. They're gonna be happy I'm back. I don't need them mad at me again for something else. And here's the thing, his car. This is the car. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's this little red, like, sports car. It is a gorgeous deep shade of red. Oh, I want this car. Guess who they run into right then and there? Everybody in the family. Apparently for the summer festival, there's a barrel race where teams of 2 push a barrel through the town. And Mateo left right before last year's race. And he and Michael had been training to do it together. And the family is so happy to see Mateo home that they're like, you two are definitely racing together. And they do race together. It doesn't go well because they haven't had time to talk out their personal issues with each other since Mateo left and then came back and was immediately forced to work with Michael in the thing. So, but before all that, Anna does start. She is about to tell them the truth when Michael steps in. Not Michael, Mateo steps in. Oh my god, these two, just the on-screen chemistry, it's not there. I understand these two really aren't supposed to have chemistry, but it's not there on a whole other level. Then Michael shows up. And it's awkward. But Vincenzo is very happy to see his son home. He's very happy to see his son home. And he wants the 2 boys to race together in the barrel race. And they do! And it's very much giving Ren Fair vibes with, like, the costuming as they walk in to start the barrel race. I don't know why it's giving Ren Fair vibes, but I love that about it. And I kind of want to go to the summer festival now. It sounds fun. And Mateo's kind of flirting with Isabella, who is the one that called him and told him what was going on. So maybe she's in like 4 scenes. Maybe it's only 3. I don't know if she's in the last. No, she's in 4 scenes. This is the other one she's in. And so we get the barrel racing. I do believe that if, they hadn't let their issues get to them, Michael and Mateo definitely would have won, but they didn't. They lost. Mateo starts getting cocky. That's when it starts going downhill. They fight through the race. As they're coming up on the end, Mateo pushes Michael into the crowd, and they just go at it, and it's uncomfortable. I don't like Mateo. He gives frat boy. He gives frat boy energy. But, like, the ritzy kind of frat boy, like, these frat boys come from money. Not just like I'm in a frat kind of, like, I think the dad knows that Anna doesn't like Mateo. I think he can sense that, but he never says anything. He knows that Michael kind of likes Anna. They're back in, like, the little area outside of the restaurant. They're dancing. The family's all there. They're recounting stories. Michael's friends show up and he's like, hey, is it okay if I go off with my boys? I haven't seen them in, he leaves with them. Here's the thing with Grandma's always watching. If you see, you'll see her in the background, she is always has her eye on Anna. A, because I don't think she trusts this girl. B, I think she knows that this girl needs whatever she's going through in life right now. Like, she needs this, to some extent. So she watches as she goes over and talks to Michael for a little bit. And then Gabriella comes over and pulls her away and to talk about wedding stuff. I love that Gabriella is so into the wedding and just so happy about all this. She's such a caring mother. And, like, when she asks Anna at one point about, will you have any family? And she's just like, no. And she's just like, well, we're your family now. I love Gabriella. She's a great mom. Mateo comes back to the villa. Anna had waited up for him. I don't know why. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why she waited up for him. I don't know why she likes him. Honestly. As they're kind of having a conversation, he keeps getting a call. I don't think he's super drunk. I think he's a little drunk. And he wanted to go out with the boys. He's probably a little drunk. Whatever. Not the point here. As they're trying to have a conversation, he keeps getting a phone call. And at my first thought was, it's just work. And he does ignore he finally answers, I think, the 3rd time. It wasn't work. His father is in the hospital. He fell at the restaurant and hurt his head, and leg. He can't work. And tomorrow's the last day of the festival. And the restaurant always has food. They can't not be open. It would ruin everything. Mateo doesn't know Anna's backstory with cooking and why she doesn't want to do it anymore. So he offers her up to help him in the kitchen. And she is hesitant to agree, and then Vincenzo asks. And he doesn't normally ask for help, so she knows this is coming from a place of, like, he really, truly needs it. So she does agree. The next morning, Vincenzo wakes up dizzy, so he's not there. This leaves Anna fully in charge of the restaurant. She has to come up with the menu and everything, because Vincenzo doesn't leave a recipe book. He doesn't leave a menu. He does. And they can't make the same thing as yesterday. It has to be something new and different. She does it. She takes over real quick. She kind of infuses her, like, southern roots and some of her American vibes into the dish. And, like, she is cooking. Nona's there. She's watching. Mateo's been missing all day. There's a couple scenes throughout the day where they're just like, anybody seen Mateo? Michael sees Mateo at one point making out with Isabella. Why? Like, this was, like, it was him, like, she's the one that called him yes. She is his ex. Yeah, they're exes. She's only in one other scene, and he's only kind of flirting with her in that scene. There's not build up to them making out. Maybe here they are making out. Whatever. Vincenzo comes in after Anna's done cooking all, like, the dishes for the day. Like, not all the dishes, because she's gonna have to keep cooking through the night, obviously. Because they're not gonna. But so he can taste test everything, and he approves. Yes. Also, earlier, before she starts with anything, yeah, Luigi is a real plumber that Francesca is definitely having an affair with. He's there, and she's like, you never know when you're gonna need a plumber. I love her. She is unashamed of anything. But Anna is having, this is like her peak moment for the trip. She's cooking, everybody loves her food. She is living her dream. This is what she always wanted to do. Mateo finally shows up after they've closed the restaurant for the night. And Michael is just like, where have you been? And Mateo's just like, it's all good. We have an announcement. Anna and I are going back to New York. And this is when Michael confronts Mateo about Isabella having seen them make out earlier that day. Because even Anna was just like, wait, we're going back. What? She was surprised by this announcement, too. Of course she was. This came out of nowhere. There was no prompting for, I don't know where this, whatever. But during the Michael confronts Mateo about Isabel thing, he ends up punching Mateo in the face. To be fair, Mateo deserved it. I'm glad he got this. They get into a huge fight that Anna does stop by telling the truth about how she lied. And now everyone is sad and mad and feels used, and the ring comes off, and yada yada. She leaves because, honestly, what else is she supposed to do at that point? You told them the truth. You have no reason to stay. You should not be there. They probably don't want you there as far as she knows at this point in time. So she gets to the bus stop. Lorenzo took her there. I assume. It was probably Lorenzo. And she just barely misses the bus that would have taken her to the airport. Just barely. It is literally leaving as she is, like, right there. As is another cliche of these things. You just get bad timing with transportation. To be fair, she should have looked at the bus schedule and maybe left a little sooner knowing that. That's on her. So she just kind of sits there. Just sits at the bus stop. She's just going to wait for the next bus. I don't know how long she'll be sitting there. Long enough for Mateo's family to show up. And by that, I mean it is Mateo, Vincenzo, Gabriella, Nona, Francesca. I don't remember if Enzo is there. But at first, we just think it's Nona, who apparently speaks English. And she's like, girl, we all make mistakes. We all have these things. We all do things. But also, I see how you look at Michael. Go for him. Go be with my grandson. Don't be dumb. don't give up on your dreams because of one little mistake you made. Nona calls her stupid. I love Nona so much. She's such a vibe. But then she's like, oh yeah, no, look, the rest of the family's here too. We don't hate you at all. No, they don't. They're like, yeah, go get Michael. Where is Michael? Also, why is Mateo there? Why is Mateo all for I don't know, man. He's just there, and he's supportive of her being with Michael. I don't know. Mateo gives him the keys to his car. The really nice red one, by the way. Oh, I want that car so bad. I want to drive that car. He's like, "You taking my house now? You take my car?" To be fair, he gave her the car just to like borrow in this moment. He's not actually giving her the car. There's sheep in the road at one point as she's driving to Michael's place where he lives on the vineyard. She finds him in the vineyard talking to the pig. This is the second time we see the pig. It's the only other time we see the pig. It's a cute little pig, though. She walks up to him singing that same song, "Let Me Love You," and kind of confesses everything. And she's like, "Okay, I did lie about one other thing. My name. It's not Anna, it's Brianna." And I'm like, is that really a lie? You just didn't say your full name. That's not a full lie, because if you go by Anna, like, that is also your name. So, I don't think that's quite a lie. The sprinklers come on again. But this time she's like, "No, I'm not. I won't let my hair get ruined, so you will hear me out," as she confesses her feelings. And guess what? They get together, and they make and another tour bus shows up. Why do the tour buses keep showing up right at that moment when they're having their moment in the sprinklers? 1 month later, she is working in the restaurant. I'm pretty sure that she has already been named the one who's going to take over that restaurant after Vincenzo is not the one in charge. And we find out, Mateo's now with Isabella. That wasn't shocking at all. Everything that I expected to happen happened. I figured she'd end up working in that restaurant or owning it. So even if she didn't end up with Michael, I'm like, they just might give her the restaurant because they've seen her skill. Whatever. It was a movie. It was fine. There's some more bloopers of some of the scenes with the ladies in the tour bus in the credits, which I already talked about a little bit. This movie. It's a rom-com. Feels cliche at times. Michael feels cliche at times. I don't know. These movies aren't made for me. But Francesca and Lorenzo are. I do like the comedic parts of the rom-coms. I could care less about the romance side of things. I'm here for the comedy. That's Yumi and Tuscany. It's fine. Watch it whenever you want to watch it. I don't have an opinion on when or where you should watch this one. But I do know. I think I said in my last one that my next long one was going to be Devil Wears Prada. I forgot about Michael. The Michael Jackson biopic. I will be doing a video on that. I am looking forward to that. So, expect that one out in, I don't know, a couple weeks. After that, it will be Devil Wears Prada 2. After that, it will be Devil Wears Prada 2. Which I'm very much looking forward to. So excited. So excited. But beyond that, like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if I get, whenever I hit 100 subs, I will do a video. I will choose, unless you guys have a different movie you really want me to do a full ramble on that I leave completely unedited, it will either be on the Sharknado movies, all 6 of them. I will go all 6. Or Snow White, the live action remake, which I have feelings on. But until next time, stay fabulous, my friends. Bye!